YouTube, welcome back. James MTG Biggie here, and today I'm going to do a brief deck tech. We're not going to go full in-depth with it, and if I sound like I'm being a little bit quieter or calmer than I generally am, it's because it's 2 a.m. and I'm trying to keep the other human and animals that live in my house asleep and not be rude, so bear with me here. Hopefully everybody can hear everything properly. But we're looking at a Pauper deck. I don't play a ton of Pauper, but the reason I picked up the format at all is because this deck is something I felt was a viable option in Pauper. And it is Blue-Green Madness. If anybody watches this that knows me knows I love Blue-Green Madness from the Onslaught Odyssey era of Standard. It's one of my favorite decks of all time, probably my favorite Standard deck ever. And it ports over well to Pauper. So, we get right into it. Lands, we are on 3 Evolving Wilds, and we have 6 and 6 on Basic Forest and Island. 4 Thornwood Falls, because this is the best sort of dual land you get in Pauper. And then we have 2 cycling lands, Lonely Sandbar, Tranquil Thicket. They come into play tap, make green and blue mana, respectively, and cycle for a green and a blue, respectively. And then we have a Simic Growth Chamber. The bounce lands aren't great in a lot of decks because they're sort of anti-tempo, but in our deck, because we're playing cycling lands, if we have to play one of these for mana fixing early in the game, late in the game, if we run out of gas, we could bounce up a cycling land and cycle it away for value. So that is a cool little synergy. It also fixes our colors very well. And corner cases happen where you could bounce up a gain land and gain a life again. Outside of that, our Madness package is pretty much the same as the original deck from the old Standard. 4 Wild Mongrels and 4 Merfolk Looters are how we're doing all of our discarding. The other creature, Aquamoeba, is a decent Madness outlet, but it's not as good as it was back in that era because damage on the stack no longer is a thing. So we've shifted to Merfolk Looter over it because this adds value with us getting to filter our draws and stuff. And then we're going to be discarding 4 Basking Rootwallas and 4 Arrogant Wurms. The Basking Rootwalla, here, pull it up here. The 1 mana, 1/1, that has Madness of 0, so it's a free 1/1 if we could discard it, which we can most of the time. And then Arrogant Wurm is a 5 mana 4/4 with Trample that we can play for 3 mana with Madness. Very good. Not the biggest body you can have in the format. There's a lot of Gurmag Angler running around, so it doesn't stack up the way it used to. But we have stuff in the sideboard to help it stack up. Slaughterhorn specifically. And in the chance that you're not playing against a Gurmag Angler deck, this is oftentimes going to be the biggest body on the battlefield. Aside from that, Circular Logic is incredibly powerful still. It is a card that makes Madness worth playing. 1 blue Madness for basically counter target spell most of the time is very powerful. Deep Analysis, another card that we're going to want to pitch a lot of the time. Rarely are we going to play it for 4 mana. Most of the time we're going to pay 2 mana and 3 life and draw a couple cards. And then because a lot of the other really big haymakers for the old Madness deck are uncommons and not legal in Pauper, we have a Delver of Secrets package. We're on 4 Delvers, and then we get to play Brainstorm as a 4 of, Ponder as a 3 of, and then a couple careful studies to help out with Madness, and 3 Echoing Truth as our final spell. The funny thing about Echoing Truth in this deck, I'll pull it up separately since not everybody may be familiar, is not only can we save our creatures by bouncing them to our hands, or remove their threats temporarily by bouncing them to the opponent's hands, we get to do some extra shenanigans with this card. There have been situations where I've been playing where I'll have a Wild Mongrel in play and I'm trying to push it through a bigger creature or just finish off my opponent, so you can attack with your Wild Mongrel, and if you have any number of Basking Rootwallas in play or in your hand, you could start discarding your Rootwallas to your Wild Mongrel, and then echoing truth them all back to your hand and do it again. So a pretty cool little synergy. It doesn't come up a ton, but it's something we can do to abuse this card. And when we're not doing that, this is a very flexible, good removal spell or a good protection spell for our creatures. So that is pretty much the main deck. In the sideboard, we are working with some Hydroblast, because there's a lot of red decks in the format. Burn is a deck. Goblins, blue-red, Delver, blue-red, like Kiln-themed decks are all over the place. So this is just 1 mana, answer a red threat, so that's very good. We have the 4th Echoing Truth, a couple natural states to take care of artifacts and enchantments. There's a lot of Oblivion Ring type effects in the format, so these take care of those very efficiently. Eel Umbra is a good protection spell for our creatures if we're playing against a removal heavy deck. Slaughterhorn, very flexible. It's a 3/2 body, or we could Blood Rush it onto a creature to push through more damage. And then Choking Tethers, it's 4 mana, instant speed, tap down 4 creatures, or you could cycle it for blue and 1 and tap down 1 creature when you cycle it. So also very flexible. And then Piracy Charm is just a really good flexible modal spell. It kills opposing Delvers before they flip. Island Walk isn't incredibly relevant, but sometimes it comes up. And then we can make ourselves discard a card if we absolutely need an outlet for madness. If we're short on mongrels and looters, we can force ourselves to discard. That gives us an outlet. So pay a mana, discard a card in response to our opponent playing a spell, and then circular logic that spell by discarding it to Piracy Charm. Stuff like that comes up in corner cases. I love this deck a lot. I always have loved this archetype, and it's the reason I play a format. So if you guys are interested in Pauper at all, feel free to check this list out and, make whatever adjustments you'd like to, or try my stock list here, because this deck isn't very stock at all. It's not a huge player in the meta at all. It's probably barely played in the meta, but because I love the deck so much, I have to have it at least viable in some format, and it's pretty consistent and pretty good. It has a lot of card advantage and can play very long, grindy games, or you could just kind of 1-2 punch them with Delver into Wild Mongrel into Arrogant Wurm and win pretty quickly. So it plays sort of both phases of the game very well, early and late, and it's a ton of fun. And for like $24 online, you can't really beat it. That's all I got for today. I just wanted to keep it brief and a little bit different because Pauper is not something I'm going to be covering a lot. I thought I'd just give a crack at it. That being said, I will link a couple of my videos down here at the bottom of the screen. So if you're interested in seeing some other deck techs and some other content, I make videos a few days a week and have deck techs and magic rants and conversations and a little bit of news here and there that I can report on. And I try to build a community of people that I talk to regularly in the comments section down below. So feel free to check out some of my other videos. Comment down below, let me know what you think of this deck. if you've played it, or if you are going to play it in Pauper, or we're looking for something to do in Pauper, it's a little bit different. Let me know how it worked out for you. And click up here, there'll be a cartoon of my face, and you can subscribe to see some more videos when they come out. If you click the bell, it'll notify you whenever I post. So that's all I've got, guys. I appreciate it very, very much, and I'll talk to you all again soon. It's MTG Biggie, and I'll see you again. Bye.